So not too long ago, I dropped my top 10 winter designer fragrances video, and generally that's a video that consists of things that I'm looking forward to wearing, you know, maybe a few new additions to the collection, but it also contains some scents that kind of historically seem to pop up year over year just because I can't seem to get away from them. And so that's kind of what that video is focused around right there. Scents that I'm looking forward to wearing, scents that I just love and wear year over year, and both of those kind of fall under the category of smelling like winter scents. However, that doesn't really take into consideration anything else. Price point, performance, anything like that. They're designers, so the prices vary. The performance kind of is what it is on all of them. In this video, we are focusing solely on performance. My top 10 strongest performing winter scents, okay? There are a couple niche ones in here, but we've got a little bit of everything for everybody. We've got scents as low as $30 all the way up into the close to $200 range, and everything else in between. So it doesn't really matter what your budget is. You'll find something in here that's going to be suitable for you. If you want to splurge and spend a bit, I've got you covered. If you want to stay on a budget and grab something for a really low price that still has incredible, impressive performance, I've got you covered as well. I'll link them up down below. Let's get things kicked off, and not necessarily in any particular order here either. These are all so strong, you're going to get to the point where you're kind of splitting hairs, and there's no sense in stressing yourself out over, oh, this one performs, you know, 45 minutes longer than this one, etc., right? Because they're all very close. They're all very strong. Bulgari Man in black is what I want to get things kicked off with. It's mature spice bomb. You know, in a nutshell, that's kind of how I have described this one for a long time, and I'm sure I didn't come up with that, but it's just kind of what it smells like. Spice bomb EDT, but with a boozy twist, a little bit more grown up and mature. You know, it still has, obviously, a ton of cinnamon and spices and pepper, which kind of alludes to that spice bomb comparison there, even the way the tobacco comes across and all of that. But then the rum is a new addition that does not exist in any spice bomb, which is a shame, by the way, but we get a boozy take here with this one. Get great performance out of this. It smells amazing in the cold weather. You know, it kind of helps to smooth this one out because, again, it is a little bit harsh and abrasive due to the spicy nature. Not as much as the original Spice Bomb or Spice Bomb EDT or whatever, but it does have some of that going on. So when you get some cold weather on this one, it just opens up and smells absolutely incredible. Great performer. It's one you don't have to worry about. Next up, we have Versace Aeros Parfum. You know, going back to the old days of the EDT, you know, why was that so popular? Because it performed great and people loved how it smelled. It kind of had the best of both worlds there. And at one point, I guess, it was, you know, more affordable than not. I mean, retail price is what a lot of people were paying for it, but discounters, you know, they are carrying and still do carry Aeros EDT for an affordable price in the $50 range. However, Aeros EDT is not what it used to be. The Parfum solves that problem. You are paying a bit more for it. I think you can get testers with cap for around $80, full presentation 100 mils for $90, but the full presentation is basically the same as the tester minus the box being different because, again, you get a cap with the testers. So in my opinion, that's the way to go. You could save 10 plus bucks going that route. But I digress. You know, in order to get that OG Aeros performance and just kind of what made Aeros so special, you just don't get that from the EDT anymore. So you kind of have to pony up, spend an extra $30, maybe $35 and just go for this instead. And personally, I think it's well worth making the jump. There's no sense in sitting around and getting frustrated because your new bottle of Aeros doesn't perform. You know, save yourself the headache, sell it, give it away, swap it, trade it, throw it away, just get it out of your life and grab something that actually performs good. Trust me, life is too short to be worried about that stuff, and there are so many other fragrances out there that just work better these days. Aeros Flame is also really good, but performance-wise, the Parfum has a beat. The Parfum is the strongest of the Aeros line, and so again, when that's what we're prioritizing here today, so it had to make it in here. Great stuff, Aeros DNA, but stronger, a little bit more refined. You can't beat this stuff, it's great. Next up, we have a new release here. This one is Invictus Victory Elixir, kind of going on that trend here. We've got vanilla, tonka bean, and incense in this one. It smells great, and the Victory line is pretty solid, I would say. You know, they're still Invictus flankers, and so it's still going to have kind of a familiar, sweet and mass-pleasing edge to it, like you would expect from a Paco Rabanne, but I do find this one to be at least a little bit more interesting and unique compared to some of their other flankers in the past, like Invictus Legend and things like that are just okay. I think this one they've put a little bit more effort into, at least, and same with honestly the original Invictus Victory as well. I think that one turned out great also. And again, you know, this video we're talking about performance. That is our #1 priority here, and this one is no joke. You know, that incense in the dry down really helps this one to stick around for a long time. It just has a lot of power in the base to where it keeps on going. You know, you're going to be getting 10, 11 plus hours out of this one consistently in the wintertime when it's cold, and so that's really solid. We're going to go ahead and move into Aaro, the Most Wanted. I really like this one. Most Wanted Parfum is great as well. Wanted by Night is also phenomenal, probably at the top of the list there, but again, it comes down to, with these in particular, they're pretty close in terms of performance. Those three, they all do really well. So, you know, you can really do some serious analyzing, and then maybe one day one will be stronger, and then the other day you get better performance out of the other one, and you're sitting there going, yeah, I don't know which one's the strongest. Well, they're all very close, and so you kind of just have to pick one at that point, you know. We're not talking variations of a couple hours here. Like, they are all very strong to the point where you could go for any of those three, honestly, and you're going to be set. And so in that instance, pick your favorite one. Whichever one you like the best is the one you should go for. This is not actually my favorite personally, but it is a fan favorite, and it still is really good. I actually ranked this one at #3, Wanted by Night, #1, Most Wanted Parfum #2, and this is #3. I like to keep some variety to the videos. I like to show you guys that there are still great options out there besides the ones that I love and talk about all the time and tend to forget about other ones like this. This is still a great option as well. You get a lot of toffee in here, so nice gourmand aspect about this one. Kind of has a dessert caramelized smell. Very sweet, no surprise. It's just, again, great performer, great mass-pleasing scent that just works well when it's brisk and chilly and cold outside. This next one is quite daring. You know, it's definitely a unique one that turns heads for better or for worse. It's just Angel Men by Mugler. So caramel, patchouli, coffee, tonka bean, and a ton of other notes. I don't even know. Yeah, I didn't even put any down on my notes because that's kind of what I go off of there, the ones I have memorized. But there are many more. Like, this has a pretty extensive note breakdown, but those there are kind of the main ones. It's a patchouli bomb, coffee, might even be chocolate or dark chocolate in there listed. If not, you definitely do pick up on that, and that would be as a result of the patchouli. Certain types of patchouli kind of give off a little bit of a chocolatey type of smell, sometimes more of a kind of a dusty cacao, powdery chocolate, other times more of like a rich syrupy chocolate. It just depends on how it's being used. But this is another one that almost falls into that gourmand category a little bit, just because of all those notes I listed off, just the sweet notes, the caramel coffee, chocolatey vibe that this one kind of exudes. You know, it's something different. And I want to make it clear that, you know, I guess when you put it that way, it sounds super mass pleasing that everybody's going to like it, but there's more to the story. I mean, it's a very, very intense scent, you know, like it's a patchouli bomb, and that note can sometimes come across a little bit mature and older and very masculine. And so it's something to think about and, you know, potentially try before you buy. It just depends on your situation and what you like. One thing that we can pretty much all agree on is performance is a non-issue. So, you know, going into this one, you're going to be set. It's going to be going for a long, long time. This one is hard to get rid of. Next up, we have another Paco Rabanne. They just do things really well with performance. Their scents are often obnoxious, and it's kind of a good thing sometimes. It's 1 Million Royal. It's got benzoin, cardamom, and cedarwood. You know, nothing exciting, nothing fun and interesting about this one necessarily, but it does do the job well. And what is that? Well, great performance, which is the requirement for this video. But then, you know, in typical Paco Rabanne fashion, compliments, mass appeal, just appealing in a positive way to the general public, whether it be random people who are smelling it, like, you know, as a result of someone wearing it, or the person wearing it themselves. You know, whoever it is walking into the department store, whether they're buying it for themselves or buying it for someone else as a gift, as they're going through and trying it and smelling it, this is the type of one that they'll land on and be like, you know what, yeah, this is it. You know, it's overwhelming to go into a store and smell things or to get a bunch of samples in. So having a default style scent like this, where people just keep going back to it because it's the one that just kind of caught their eye and it was safe and you know, yeah, that works. That's kind of what this one is. It's just a safe, easy decision for people to make. And that's why oftentimes scents like this and Aeros and Invictus do so well, because it just takes no thought. People buy it and they're set. That's it. Okay, now we're going to cover that cheap one here. So this is about $30 to $35. Testers do, I believe, come with a cap, although now I'm second guessing myself. I think they do, though. Not 100% sure. Something to look into. If they do, save the extra $3, $5 and get the tester, right? Always the way to go. But it's Bentley Ferment Intense. So with a caveat, you know, with a twist, this is going to be considered a bit more challenging compared to some other scents in this list that are, you know, 2, 3, 4+ times the cost, but also even more so going to be considered a lot more challenging than scents in this price range. You know, there's a phenomenon where a lot of scents that are, you know, $30, $35 and less are just, they all smell super easy to wear, you know, and people will just go out and purchase a bunch of cheapies because they're 20, 30 bucks and just start tossing them in their cart. And then, oh yeah, I'm going to get a bunch of compliments. And what happens is they land on Bentley Ferment Intense and they're completely thrown off a lot of times in kind of a negative way, because they claim it smells like a church or it smells like their grandpa. And so this is me saying and making this disclaimer that I do every time. You know, smoky, woody, rich, strong. It is not anything close to being like what else we've covered here in this video so far. Invictus Victory, 1 Million Royal, Aeros. Yeah, this is not anything like those. This is going to be for the guy who wants something mature and a bit more classic and traditional. Just a forewarning, because it happens every time. People get mad at me because they don't like this, because they don't do their research very well. So, you know, I do the best I can to describe things, and if you can't figure it out from there, then I guess you're out 35 bucks. That's the good news, is this one's cheap. So for all the times people have blind bought this and hated it, they probably just throw them away. But for a $35 scent, it is a monstrous performer. And that's another thing. People get it, they don't like it that much, and it won't go away. So it definitely enrages a lot of people, but that's why I love it so much. It's just fun to watch that. Okay, next up we have Stronger With You, Absolutely. One of my favorite, well, I should say it is my favorite of the Stronger With You lineup. You know, I've always said this, if you were to just buy one, because there are quite a bit at this point, especially with the exclusive editions and things like that. Only getting one, go for Absolutely. And really, you could just be done with it if you wanted to. Now, are there many other fantastic options that are worth owning? Yeah, definitely. I would say Stronger With You Oud, really good. The newer Stronger With You Amber is great. There's a lot of really, really good ones, you know, and so I think in some instances it might be worth to pick up 1 or 2 of those as well. But again, if you don't want to mess with that, you're on a budget, you just want to get one that has great performance, great quality, and just is kind of the most well-rounded of the bunch, Absolutely is the one to get. Coming in at a parfum concentration, you get that great performance, great quality out of it. It has a bit of a kind of a rum alcohol smell to it. You get that chestnut vanilla tonka in here. It smells great. And compared to the original and Intensely, this one's also a little bit more mature as well. Now, still Stronger With You, and overall still a younger smelling scent that generally will appeal to the younger demographic. And that's not to say people who are older can't wear it, because absolutely they can. But when we're talking strictly who this is going to be getting the attention of the most, it's going to be the younger crowd. And so it still has that going on. Don't make it, you know, don't get mistaken and think that it's Bentley Ferment Intense in terms of its maturity level, because it's not, but it is a bit better than some of the rest. Okay, we're going to finish things off with these last two. They're both niche. One is expensive, one is not. So we'll start off with the not expensive one. You know, you can get this one for as low as $70. We're talking 120 ml niche. That just gave it away right there, I'm sure, because how many brands are doing 120 ml when we're talking niche? Not too many. So I'm sure you know what brand I'm talking here. $70, $80. I would say, just a very, very loose range. If you're under $100 for one bottle, you're doing good. But if you can get it under $80, you're really doing good. And at that point, it's almost robbery. Mancera Red Tobacco. This stuff is so strong, and I don't need to explain what it smells like because it's in the name. Tobacco, red pipe tobacco with a lot of patchouli, a fair dose of oud in here. It's Mancera oud. It's the accord that they use across almost all of their scents. Like if you smelled even, oud lemon mint and things like that, it has that same exact type of oud smell from there into here. So it's signature. It's Mancera. And it's definitely the backbone of a lot of their scents, and so you pick up on it here. It's nothing that's, challenging in and of itself. Like the oud, I don't think is what's going to ultimately drive people away from this. I think it's more so just the combination of the oud with the tobacco, with the patchouli. You've essentially created an absolute powerhouse of a monster performing scent. Because Oud Lemon Mint has that backbone oud in there, but it's got some fresher notes. It's a little bit easier to pull off and less polarizing than something like this. So it's a deadly combination that can be perceived good or bad, just depends on what you like. And same thing goes with, people's reactions. It depends on a number of factors. Are you overspraying this one and being obnoxious because, this is something that is very strong, and if you do overspray it, people might not like that. But, a number of factors go into it. If you're confident and you like how it smells and you wear it, chances are people are going to follow suit and kind of realize that and ultimately end up enjoying it as well. Great performer, 12 plus hours. You don't need to worry about that at all. And at that price point, it's a no-brainer. And last up, we have Nuit Exclusive by Parfums de Marly. I don't know the price off the top of my head. So this is the 75. And then I bought this one. This is the only bottle size available for the Exclusive. Later on down the road, not recently, but within the past few years, I would say they started releasing these in the 125s. So, if you want to go that direction, you can. And again, because of that, I can't remember the price off the top of my head. This is the only one that I don't even have a clue about. This one's got vanilla. It has Gaiac wood. It has some almond in here and a little bit of oud. Still has some of that Leighton backbone. You can smell it. It smells great. It's very familiar. I love Leighton. A lot of you love Leighton. It just works. But this is going to be for people who make the argument that Leighton and a lot of other Parfums de Marly's are not niche enough. If you feel that way, this kind of helps that along. And, sometimes I think that's said with malicious intent. Other times I think it's just, kind of speaking the truth because it's kind of, a true point. A lot of the Parfums de Marly's aren't overly niche smelling. They're not really challenging. There's a few. Carlisle's kind of starting to push it a little bit, but even still, that one isn't too crazy. And so the Exclusives kind of help to give you a little bit more to chew on, so to speak. They're just a bit more interesting. And every now and then, if I'm kind of feeling burnt out on Leighton or I just want something a bit different, Leighton Exclusive is a great option. It is going to be a bit more expensive, but I'll tell you, if you like it and you want a more interesting version of Leighton, you just got to get this stuff. Performance is great, and it actually performs a bit better than Leighton, and I already get good performance from that original, so that's a big bonus there. I guess for the price, you would hope that it does a bit better, and it does live up to that. That's going to do it for me, guys. Some of the strongest performing winter fragrances that I have. Great stuff. If you're after performance first and foremost, then just go for these. You won't regret it. I'll link them down below. And I've also got a mailing list and texting list you can sign up to. I'm always on the hunt for rare, discontinued, and hard to find scents, designer, niche, discontinued, whatever. And so if you want to be the first to be notified when anything like that comes into stock, sign up at the mailing list, link and the text number down below, and you'll get first dibs. Anytime Blue Electrique or Armani Code Profumo, Armani Code Absolute, anything rare comes into stock, that's just to name a couple there, I'll send you a notification. You'll be able to grab yours before it's too late. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.